Stop! Don't you touch your text messages until you hear this message. Hello everyone, this is Stream Tech Now. I'm going to show you the very latest scam that's going on right now, which is starting to happen quite a bit. And the scary thing is it's with your very own text messages. I'm going to show you what to look out for coming up next. So here's an example of an actual scam. Now this is from someone that had it happen to them named Alyssa Beckworth. Now as you can see, it's a text message from Wells Fargo Bank stating there was a $240 withdrawal at an ATM on 4/12/21 and even gives an ID number to further prove the authenticity. Now it gives a phone number for you to call as well. The text message she received looks quite legitimate. After some of her personal information had already been stolen a few years back, she signed up for text alerts from her bank, Wells Fargo, to confirm each time she made a new purchase. And that step to protect herself, ironically, is what made her such an easy target. So when the scammer texted Beckworth in April telling her that Wells Fargo card has been charged with $240 withdrawal and to contact us if it's suspicious, she didn't think twice and called. And a robotic voice welcomed her to Wells Fargo and asked her to verify herself. So she entered in her credit card number, her social security number, and her birthday. And the recording said, "This information is valid, thank you," and then it hung up. And only then did she realize her mistake. Beckworth said in a phone interview that she was so surprised it didn't connect me with somebody to actually talk with, which is usually what happens. And that's when she said, "Oh my God, I think this is a scam." In the space of a few minutes, Beckworth became the latest victim of smishing, or SMS phishing, in which a scammer sends a text message to trick a person into turning over sensitive personal information, which can be used for all sorts of fraud, like siphoning money from your bank account, opening up credit cards in your name. Unwanted texts have existed for practically as long as text message itself, but with more people using their smartphones to make payments, many sites for banks and utilities now verify users' accounts through text messages. The fraud floodgates have now opened, which is why I wanted to bring you this warning. The numbers, guys, are staggering. The Federal Trade Commission got just under 335,000 complaints about scams texts last year, more than double the year before, and the amount of smishing fraud has increased 125% just in the last 3 months, which is just absolutely crazy. With over 97% of Americans owning a smartphone, there's very little people can do to stop unwanted texts. Now, Apple and Google and other Android manufacturers advise users to block unwanted numbers, but it's so easy for scammers to pretend to send messages from different numbers. So what can we do about this? Well, unfortunately, there's not much. The big carriers were asked and most declined to respond, but AT&T responded by saying, "If you get spam messages you don't want, respond stop." Replying stop to a marketing company or signing up for the do not call list can reduce spam from companies that are trying to abide by the US law. But security experts warn that since many scammers have no interest in following that law, that likely they're going to do more harm than good. In fact, the unit chief over at the FBI's Internet Crime Center warns that responding stop actually is worse. If you respond, it shows that there's somebody on the other end. They could be just fishing for live numbers. Replying to smishing attacks most likely makes you more of a target. Now, text messaging is also the preferred delivery method for the most extreme form of phone hacking, which is when criminals or countries try to gain complete control over a phone and turning it into a secret microphone or stealing all of its emails and texts. The real issue is that text message as a second form factor is still extremely common, and as long as it remains very common, phishing through text messages will also be really common because people are so conditioned to expect that important things come through text messages. So with no easy fix on the horizon, most people have little choice but to simply be extremely careful not to click links texted to them from people they don't know. SMS numbers are easily spoofed. And the biggest piece of advice is do not click on a URL or a link in a text message. Don't trust URLs in a text message unless you have more assurance. If you get a text message from a bank or a retailer, type that URL into a browser separately. Again, I repeat, type that URL into a browser separately. So let us know in the comments what you guys think. Have you ever received one of these text messages, and will you start to look at your text differently? Thanks so much for visiting us today, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Streamin' Tech Now.